Aloha gang, Dr. Russ Rosen here. Welcome to the OHC System Community MasterClass. MasterClass. Let's see. Yep, says I'm live. Let me go ahead and comment here. Comment if you are here live with me. Okay, fair enough. Let me move this down right here. Let's see how high I can move that. Okay, cool. That'll move. Okay, gang, we got a lot to cover today, as always. So I help docs like you thrive in a care versus care, true optimal health model. We're live here 3 Tuesdays a month at 1:30 California time. If you want even more, if you want to dive deeper and get all kinds of cool things like all of these that we talk about all the time, etc., you can go into the club. I'll give you a free month. Just put comment below club and I'll get you in there for a free month. Today we're going to talk about how to build a dream team and the first part about how to build a dream team, which is how to hire. I know that all of us, we want to help as many people as we possibly can get the best results they possibly can. We want to make a lot of money, at least I do, and we want to do it with ease and we want to have a lot of fun. And the reality is, most of us recognize, and the truth is that we can serve more people and we can make more money and we can even have more fun if we have an amazing team. Now, does that mean that you can't be a solo practitioner? Not at all. I coach lots of solo practitioners. There are all kinds of things you can do to make that more easy for you. But the reality is that if you want to serve more people, then you need to have a team to be able to help you so that you can do what only you should do as a doctor. You have other people to do other things for you. So then you need to build a dream team. Whenever I ask doctors, we get on a call, they're thinking about working with me, and I ask them, if I had a magic wand, what would you like to have happen? There are 3 things they say: more new patients, more money, and less stress with my staff. Those are the 3 things I always hear. So today and over the next several weeks is all about how to build a dream team and how to hire. Now, in the last masterclass, we talked about how to get your team on board, and we talked a bit about team. We're going to dive deeper into that today, and we're going to be talking about how to hire. Over the next several calls, we'll be going then into how to bonus, how to train your team appropriately, which means regularly, in very short, not a lot of time, but it's something that needs to be done. What about performance appraisals? What about regular meetings, etc.? So we're going to handle all of that. So I put in ChatGPT just for fun because Chat's my best friend. Having the difference between having a dream team versus having horrible staff. Tell me about that, pros and cons, etc. And here's what it came up with. It said horrible staff can dealing with a dream team versus having horrible staff can make or break any organization, influencing its success, its culture, its ability to achieve goals. And here's why. I'm just going to touch on a few of these. Productivity and efficiency. With a dream team, highly skilled, highly motivated, collaborative staff can execute tasks efficiently, innovate, and find solutions to challenges quickly. Their collective expertise accelerates progress and meets or exceeds goals. Horrible staff, poorly skilled or disengaged employees waste time, make frequent errors, require constant oversight, creating bottlenecks, hindering organizational growth, etc., etc. And if you've been on that end of the spectrum, you know that. Many of you have had horrible experiences. You haven't had good experiences, but you probably haven't done the things we're going to be talking about. So the workspace culture, dream team, strong, positive team fosters mutual respect, inclusivity, and shared goals. It boosts morale, reduces turnover, and attracts top talent. There are lots of docs that I coach that have had people with them 15, 20, 25 years, and good ones. I've also had that have had 15, 20, 25 years who are horrible. and they're just afraid to get rid of them. They don't know what to do, right? At one point, I had to fire someone who stole $36,000 from me, and I had no idea how to use a computer, let alone what the password was, right? So like, you just don't want to find yourself in these situations. So, other things that can affect innovation and creativity, client and patient relationships, right? So clearly it can affect your relationships with your patients and their experience. Again, I had a staff member who I absolutely loved. She was a dear friend of mine. She loved me so much that she would go to war for me and battle for me. So if somebody didn't show up with their checkbook to pay, or they didn't have a credit card with them, she'd really give them a hard time. And I literally lost half of my practice. I was down 50% when I finally called a few people up and I said, "What's going on? Why aren't you here?" And they said, I can't. She's such a bitch. She just like ruins my day every time I'm there. So I had to let her go. And it was horrible because she was a good friend of mine. Later, a good buddy of mine, chiropractor, called up and said he was thinking of hiring her. And I told him, "Brother, she's a wonderful person, but don't do it." He called me up several months later saying, "Dude, she did the same thing. She dropped my practice in half." So again, finding the right people. Leadership and resource strange, obviously financial implications. So we want to make sure that we have the right people. The dream team amplifies your organization's strengths and creates a foundation for long-term success, while horrible staff can cripple progress, morale, and overall potential. Investing in the right people is essential for sustainable growth, and investing in the right system to build a dream team is critical. Just throwing money at this is not going to work. Don't kid yourself. All right. So the intent of this class is, I just got myself wet, to expose you to the concepts and principles of building a dream team, which is a group of people in my world. It's a group of people who work together as a team, who support each other to do their very best. It's a group of people who are well trained, highly motivated, and passionate about growing the practice. That's my version. You get to figure out what yours is. So in most offices, in most businesses, we've got bosses and we have employees. The problem with that scenario is bosses move into the angry parent role and employees move into the victim child role. So they become, the owners or the bosses become responsible to push their employees into action. And it's not a good relationship. So the employee plays the role of the victim, helpless child. They resist, they drag their feet. You can't figure why the right things that you're doing aren't working, and they can sabotage you 12 ways from Sunday. You'll never know what's happening. So it becomes an us versus them environment. Certainly more in the last 20 years with Google and those kinds of businesses, there's a consciousness of a different relationship with bosses and employees than say when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was just, boss, employee, slave kind of thing. But then, I wrote this probably 23 years ago. This is what I've been trying to help my offices accomplish, way before that other stuff. Okay, so in this dream team model, we understand, now this is really important, that our leaders must give direction. They need to follow up and monitor progress and help course correct. That's their job. We have followers. Our followers' job is to take that direction, to do their best, and have a safe way to interact and ask for help or information without feeling like they're going to get hammered. So that is leader, follower. You notice I'm not saying leader, follower. It's leader, follower. The difference between regular offices and offices that are working as teams is regular offices have leaders and followers. The problem is the followers are not empowered to think for themselves. The problem is the followers are not empowered to think for themselves. They're just an employee. They're doing what they're told. right? They're not empowered to make decisions, act on those decisions, be responsible for the outcome of their decisions. A classic symptom of this model is an employee who will walk by a piece of paper on the floor and not pick it up because it's not my job. They'll see a frayed wire and not do anything about it because it's not my job. I only do my job, right? So one of the worst things that you can do is have your employees do everything you say, right? I know that sounds crazy, but because they're not thinking on their own, they're not thinking of creating more and better. So in a team environment, and this is where it's really different, we're all leaders and we're all followers, right? So your front desk is the leader of the front desk. They own that position, and everybody else is a follower. That person is the quarterback and makes sure everything else flows and runs in relationship to. So if doctor is running behind, which is causing staff, front desk, not to be able to do their job right, it's the front desk's job to grab the doctor by the ear and say, knock it off, stay on time. Different relationship. The doctor is the leader, but also follower of other positions. Same thing. So each person needs to be responsible to be a follower of other leaders. Each person is responsible to be a leader in their own position and lead the rest of the team, which of course become followers. Everyone's a leader, everyone's a follower, everyone is held capable, responsible, and accountable to do their very best for themselves and for their team. Is that way in your practice? If not, these are things we can do to create that. Okay, for most of us, it's not this way. But I want leaders, followers, everybody's a leader, everybody's a follower. Now, again, I can't recommend, I mentioned this in the last master class that we did. I can't recommend enough that you read the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's The E-Myth Revisited. There's my buddy, Frank Savinsky, who passed away several years ago, bless his heart. He wrote one for chiropractic. I think there's one for physicians. I don't know about acupuncture or osteopath or naturopath, but you know, the chiropractic one would certainly work for you guys. But I can't recommend enough that you all read that book. And so much of what I'm talking about, I based on, you know, on that. Okay, so again, to build a dream team, we need to know how to hire staff. We need to understand the importance of DISC, the DISC behavioral style, to get the right people in the right positions. We need to understand bonus systems, ones that work. Most of us have had ones that don't work. We need to know how to do performance appraisal systems. Yes, we do, even with one person. We need to know how to train our team and have a system to train our team. And again, if you read the E-Myth, you'll understand all of this so much more, or do my modules on this. And then how to run staff meetings, how to do regular meetings. Okay. So those are things that we're going to be covering. We're now going to go look at an overview of how to hire. Now, I have a 19-page document on how to hire. It is everything you ever need to know and then some. If you want that, go into the club and get it. Okay, on Thursday, I'm going to be going through this, going into detail about that, and then giving that away. Again, that's, you know, worth the price of admission for 6 months in there. And again, I'll give you a free month. So as far as how to hire, this is the overview for hiring new employees. We've got to get the right team members. We don't stand a chance if we don't have the right people and we don't get them motivated and we don't train them appropriately. All right, so you got to realize that without the right team, you are severely hampered and you can never reach your ultimate potential as a doctor or a human being for that matter, because there's so much we can do and so many people we can serve if we've got the right team so that we can do what only we can do, right? You realize you want to serve more people and save more lives and have more fun and make more money. You got to get the right team, but without the right team, you simply can't have that massive of an impact. Again, you want to run a one doctor, no staff place, bless your heart. You want to coach with me? I can help you do that. But if you do want to be able to go larger, go bigger, you got to have the right team. Rick Sapio, I got some of this information from Rick Sapio, who's a wonderful man. I took his Cairo finishing school, and then he turned that into a business finishing school, and he was a business coach for Patch and Tempo. Um, but Rick Sapio, he talks about Superman syndrome. And Superman or Superwoman syndrome is where everything needs to go through me. I'm Superman. So I can't have team members doing other things. I have to take care of everything myself. So I'm the bottleneck. And we can't grow more than me, right? But if you think about somebody, a massive, I used to use the employee of Bill Gates with 6,000 employees. If they all didn't show up one day, could he, have Microsoft have the impact that Microsoft has? No, you can't do it without them. So, you, if you're going to have staff, cannot have Superman syndrome. I've mentioned this, I think, before in the last module or MasterClass. Louise, wonderful doctor, absolutely love her, um, in New Zealand, and we were having this conversation about you are Superwoman syndrome. You need to learn to be able to delegate. You need to learn to automate. You need to be able to have the right appropriate staff and be able to trust and monitor, right? You got to be able to do that. And she was saying, no, I can't, and here's all the reasons why I can't. And the next day I got an email from her, which she did not type because she went over the handlebars of her bike, broke both her wrists, right? If you break both your wrists, you can't wipe your own butt, let alone adjust people, let alone do everything, right? And later she was saying, what a great, experience and exercise in me being learning to delegate. Okay. So you want to have a massive impact. We want to have a highly motivated team. Most of us have heard, I've heard different figures on this, but a mishire, hiring the wrong person, can cost you a fortune. It can cost you up to 3 times a person's annual salary. I mean, it's a huge deal if you have a mishire, especially if they're there for a long period of time. Again, I've had doctors who have had staff that tell me, when I go through and I talk with docs about their staff and I have them grade them, they'll grade them as a D, and I'll say, how long has she been with you? 20 years. How long has she been a D? She's always been a D. Why do you still have her? Right? So you're looking for A players. Remember, they represent you, and the truth is they can make you or break you. Um, we want to let go of our limiting beliefs that you have from your past experiences. Our staff never work out, they steal from you. Happened to me. They never care enough about your practice, they don't do a good job. They're never going to do good, they're always going to leave, blah blah blah. We need to get rid of those limiting beliefs and start to create something different. Things have happened in the past, but they don't have to happen in the future. So you want to nail this stuff. You really want to nail this stuff. So here are some compelling reasons uh, to emphasize the importance of hiring the right people for the right positions. Maximize productivity, reduced turnover costs, improved team dynamics, better customer satisfaction, stronger business reputation, faster achievement of business goals, cost efficiency, enhanced innovation, increased employee engagement, compliance and risk management, blah, 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 blah. So by now you want to get the right people. How do we get them? Okay. So step one is you got to get extremely clear about who you're looking for and what are your rules. So I'm looking for someone to be at the front desk. Well, what kind of person should that be? An analytical person? No, you want a friendly, outgoing cheerleader who can multitask. Billing, you want a friendly person who needs to be around people all the time or they feel like slitting their wrists? No, you want an analytical. They're into getting tasks done, right? More than people orientation. You've got someone doing collections. You want them easygoing? No, you want a bulldog going after them. So think of the role, think of the position, and then think of the type of person that you're looking for. In my learning center, we have an entire course on DISC, the aggressive, drivers. Give me the ball, I'll score the touchdown. The friendly, outgoing cheerleader, the easygoing amiable, slower paced, the analytical, like who is it that you're looking for? Then am I very clear about exactly what they do? So in the last module, we talked about this. We'll be talking more about it, but we have a form that has the position, front desk, the behaviors that you expect from them. I think we have like 15. And then the tasks. What are the tasks that they're going to do? So I know what they're going to do. I know the kind of person that I'm looking for. And I want to get the rules. I want rules. I had a situation where with my first daughter, both my daughters we had at home, we had a midwife who I just fell in love with. I just love this lady. She was amazing with people. She was so friendly. She was fantastic. She got the chiropractic story. Like I really talked, so I talked to her about hiring her, and she goes, "You do recognize that I don't know how to type, right? That I won't work with computers. I if I have what, 4 or 5 children, if any of them get sick, I stay home. Like I didn't have any rules. So you want to come up with rules. If you were hiring somebody for a center in the NBA, what's something they might require? What might be a good rule? Well, that they're over 7 feet tall, right? Anything under 7 feet tall, I'm not considering them for this position, right? I always think of when I'm on a plane, and I know that this sounds completely inappropriate in today's ridiculousness, but you've got men and women that, what are they called anymore? I forget what we call them, but anyhow, that are working there, and you've got ones that are this short and they can't reach up to help put things up in the overhead, or you got ones that are this wide, and every time they walk by, if you're on the aisle seat, they bust your shoulder. Like it's ludicrous for you, and I get, politically incorrect, but for you, hire appropriately, figure out the rules, what are going to work best for you. Here are some things you may want to think of. They live within a certain distance. They've lived within a certain different distance for a period of time. They have their own transportation. They presently have a job. Again, I'm not saying these are the ones you should have. I'm just giving you examples that I give to my coaching clients. I may have something like my spouse or another team member needs to approve them because I'm not good at this. And I think I trust everybody. That happens to be me. I'm a high and I trust everything everybody ever tells me. My wife, on the other hand, lower I, higher C, I trust her first impression of people way better than mine. So if I was hiring someone, the rule would be she'd have to approve of them. They got to have a good credit score. Now, again, these are things that are most likely where you live illegal. If you're in the United States, what I'm about to tell you is illegal, but certainly not in other parts of the world. Um, you may want a non-smoker. Can you ask in the United States? No, you can't, but you can smell it on them, right? You might mention that you've got, a lot of sensitivity issues with people coming in, and we need to be fragrance free. Can you be fragrance free, kind of thing? So nose rings. I want them. I'm out in Santa Monica, and lots of tattoos and nose rings is what I want. Or, I'm in a super, conservative area. I don't want that kind of stuff. Again, can you not hire for that? No, but you can have rules of who you would think about, right? All kinds of different things. Hairstyle. I want someone with a mohawk. I want someone with clean cut. Like whatever it is for you, you want to think about that. And again, certain areas that's illegal to do. Obviously, they got to be able to perform all the tasks that you wrote down that we already talked about. Um, Rick Sapio talked about never hire family because then it's very difficult to fire them. Kat and I have been working together for 27 years now. We do just fine. So, something you want to think about. A lot of challenges with younger people end up getting pregnant and having babies. Good for them, but you just spent 2 years training them and now they're gone. It could be what was that other one? Yeah, I have a lot of little kids, and when if they get sick, which they do, right, building up their immune system, and they get sick, then they got to stay home, and then they miss being there for you, and everything shuts down. Especially if you're a one or two or three person office, right? You have 15, 20 employees, someone can cover blah blah blah. Okay, so those are just some things you really want to think through. Again, I have an entire course on the disc, the type of person, but you really want to think that through. Um, so now you know who and you know what they do, and now I got to figure out how to get them into my funnel. How am I gonna get them into this funnel? So I look at my advertisements. What kind of advertisements am I going to use? Again, we'll go into this in the club. Where am I going to place the ads? Is it going to be in the paper? Is it going to be on social media? Is it going to be in Indeed or any of those? Like you got to figure out what you're going to be doing when people call in. You want to have some questions that the front desk person, if they do call in, that they're going to put down their name, their phone number, their what they felt about the person's voice and their initial impression. Tell them to bring in very specific things, right? There's all kinds of things that we can do here. You can have them call an 800 number first, or go to a link on a website where you have to do these three things. And if they don't do these three things, then you won't even consider them, right? So send me a resume, tell me something about yourself, and whatever it is. There's so many different things you can do. But if they don't do those, they can't follow directions. They have all kinds of different things with things like Indeed. Let me see, I made notes on this, what they call those. They call those, um, oh, I forget what they call it. Doesn't matter. But there's all kinds of different things you can do to sift through the people that are not right, right? Dr. Brock McCurdy, we did this, and he got, I think it was 1,200 applications. Do you want to set a 30-minute appointment with 1,200 applications and talk to everybody? No. So sift through, and just get down to the ones who you possibly are interested. Again, there's lots of different ways I've written down in this document of how to do that. My favorite thing to do is to get them to a group interview. And again, I know lots of people don't want to do it, but I go into great detail, and I will in the club, about the group interview. But in the group interview, I can have 30, 40, 50 people at it. And it really does something powerful when they see how many other people are looking for this job. They, they can appreciate that. And then I'm going to tell them about the job. I think there's like 12 steps we have, but I'm going to tell them about the job. And then one of the things I'm going to do is have them get up now that they understand the job, and they have to sell the entire room on why they're the right person for this job. Right. And so if you're a full busy practice, it can get stressful every once in a while. I want to see how they handle stress. One way is to say, how do you handle stress? Another way is put them in a stressful situation. Right. You just talked about this job. Tell me why you're the right person for the job. um, While I'm chewing gum and playing with my hair and picking my nose and picking it out of my butt. And well, I think I'd be good because I like people, and you should hire me. Or, hey, my name is Russ. I think I'd be really great for this job because I'm absolutely a people person. I was blah, blah, blah all through high school and college. I did this. When it comes to the typing you require, I do 10,000 words a minute. Right? When you're looking for this, I have Excel down, I got Word down, I've already worked on the different softwares that you've talked about. That's the person you're interested in, right? And then after that, we do a second interview right then. We're going to let these people go. Thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it. 3 of you, we have questions about your resume. Do a second part of the interview right now. One of the things that they talk about, we used to say hire slow and fire fast. Now, in some industries like tech right now, man, there's 10 tech people to one job. So they hire really slow. It's a several week to several month process to finally hire somebody. In our world right now, since COVID, that's not the case for most of us in most parts of the world. So You want to hire slow, meaning take people through all the processes that I'm recommending, but don't wait because the good ones get gobbled up. And then you've got these other people who I don't want to have to show up to work. I'd rather stay home and smoke dope and get paid by the government, right? Like in COVID, that's what happened. And now it's very difficult to find really good people. It doesn't mean that they're not out there, but that's not the kind of person I want working in my office. Again, I get what I just said is politically incorrect. So what? My job is to help you grow your practice, right? So you want to get the right people. One of the things I like to do after that, I would go through a second part of an interview, do a disc on them to find out, is an obstacle course. Put them through. If they're going to use a 10 key, have them use a 10 key. Time it. Let them know this is meant to be stressful. If they're going to type, have them type. My daughter, my daughter went to a place, it was a coffee sushi place, and she got the job. And I said, what did they do? What did they put you through to get the job? She said, well, they asked, do you like coffee? And she said, yes. And I said, honey, you never drink coffee. You get jittery if you have any. She goes, I know. And I said, and she goes, do you like sushi? She goes, I love it. I go, honey, you hate sushi. She goes, I know. And I said, did they talk to you about using, like ringing things up, carrying food, anything? Did they do anything? She said, no. And she was like, Dad, I've listened to you give talks. You and I have talked enough. Like, dude, I knew to at least say the right things, even though I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. Put them through an obstacle course. They're going to have to do pre-consultations. Have them do one. They're going to have to get on this computer, do scans, do something. Have them do it, right? So now we get somebody we're really interested in. Make sure that you get the contacts of their previous supervisors, of friends. Call. Actually make those calls and ask questions. Find out about these people. Um, if that's going well, I like them to do a special report or a special project. Now, like with Brock, what we did was when you were part of the deal was do this special project to see whether or not they would go on. And like 80% of people didn't do the special project. So we got rid of like 800 or 900 of them right away. So a special project could be something like, listen to the importance of certainty for CAs, which we have, and or for staff, and then write me a 2-page report on why you're the right person for this job. Go to my website and go to 2 other websites in our area and tell me what's different about us. You're going to do pre-consultation, go through our module, come in and be ready to do it. There's all kinds of special projects that you can do before to weed people out, because if they're not going to go the extra mile to get the job, trust me, they're not going to go the extra mile when they have the job, right? So those are some things that you can do. And then the last thing I recommend is the 2 last things I recommend is 1, run a background check. Nowadays, that's an easy thing to do. Just go online and find a good company and do a background check. Stalk them socially, right? If they're, on Facebook and they're, flashing and having a 12-pack kind of thing, is that the kind of person you want representing you? Again, I know not politically correct, whatever. But, you want to figure out who is this person. It's a lot easier nowadays than it was before. And then the very last thing is pay for, if you have other staff, your staff to go out to lunch with them. They're going to spend more time together than they do with their families. So if you got a perfect person but they don't get along, don't do it. Okay. So if you I hope you found value in this, if you like this 19-page document and to be able to jump into the club and get that and go deeper, where we actually, I'm not just lecturing at you, but we're in Zoom and we're having a conversation. I'm answering your questions. I'm pulling this out of you. Just put comment below club and I'll get you into the club. So I hope you found value. I hope that you'll let other people know about this, because there's so much information. If you haven't yet gone to the guides section, go to guides, go to master classes, start at the beginning, work your way up. Look at the other subjects that we have. I've got a ton of information in there for you that can really help you grow your practice. So if you want to thrive in a care versus care, true optimal health model, you want to help people get healthy and stay healthy versus just getting out of pain, then dive into this material. By the way, I have one spot opening up for January for one-on-one coaching. If you're interested and you want 2025 to be your best year ever, you let me know. Put coaching below and I'll contact you and we'll see whether or not we're a good match. All right, as always, much love and aloha. Bye, gang.